The Bitcoin Otter Radio Show.
Oh my God, I love you so much!
On 97.7 FM, The City.
Blessings and good fortune, everybody. We're coming to you live on 97.7 KCYP, The City, out of McAllen, Texas. We are broadcasting from the McAllen Creative Incubator here in, you guessed it, McAllen, Texas. We're also going out on Facebook Live, that is. We're going out on YouTube. We're going out on TuneIn Radio. Yes. And Radio Garden. We're all over the place, and we're going to go in other places too. Thankfully, we haven't been cut off yet. Let me check in on the Christopher Ott feed here. And there I am with my wonderful shirt. And let's get on the Bitcoin Otter feed, and we'll be ready to rock and roll. See here. And there we are. Okay, I think my hair is good. How about the makeup? I think we'll be all right. We're gonna do just fine today. All right, what do we got? Barry's on. Thank you, Barry. We got some stuff to talk about today. Sue, I think I saw I saw some other icons there. Whoever's on there, thank you very much for showing up today. We got some stuff to talk about, and I want to give you a hint. America. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Team USA, you pick women's, men's, both. They both brought home the gold. Yes, and yes. That was awesome. This is just, how would I say, a great week, because it happened on Sunday, the men's, and then I think it was probably a few days earlier were the women's gold medal efforts. Right, and am I right? They both came against Canada. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Tony, good to see you. That was the other icon I didn't see. Good to see you, Tony. Talking about the Olympics, man. The great win for both the men's and the women's team. It was awesome, ladies and gents. I think it was 7 here in the Central Time. It was 7 a.m. 7:10, I think the face-off was. And what a blessed day that I got to spend with a great friend. Craig Lewis invited a bunch of us, and we were actually all hockey players at one time, actually here in McAllen until, the pandemic. And the guy who owned the rink had to, close the doors, shutter the rink, as it were. So no more hockey on ice. There's some roller hockey, but I'm not interested in that. Anyway, the party started off at 7, right? And we had a blast. It was great. And then Craig is Canadian, and I'm not rubbing this in, Craig, but America won. America won, right? Now, what we're going to talk about, okay, after we get through this this economic stuff, yes, I do need a rumble, Matt. And both against maple-eating Canucks. Yes, says Matt. Both were against the maple-eating Canucks. They do eat maple, and it is good, I have to admit. Although New York State, as communist as it is still cranking out good maple syrup. Just so you know, if you don't want to go to another nation to get good maple syrup, New York, they don't buy from the state, of course, but individual owners of maple syrup operations are still selling great maple syrup in New York. Had to say that. Now, we're going to talk about that, but let me get on our little economic thing, which is Bitcoin. 67 something was Bitcoin today, right? I think gold was 5,100 and silver creeping back up there. Oh, the banks are really scared now, ladies and gents. They're puckering. They have so much on the line, and I think it might just be silver that kills the Fed. Why? Because they're betting against silver. There's no more silver coming out of the ground. Not saying absolutely none will come out. What I'm saying is what is already above ground is allocated. The mining procedures of these companies can't go any faster. It's not going to go any faster. Meanwhile, industry is just chomping up on silver. We've got phones, we've got computers, we've got all kinds of crazy stuff that needs silver, ladies and gentlemen. Please, I have no tie. I am not, as I grab my chest hair, right? I am not a financial advisor. I will not advise you on anything financial. However, as your friend, brother, whatever you want to call me, please do you and your family a favor and look at silver. Just look at it. Look at it, what the price was when January 2025 was around, and then look at the price now. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not too late. How do I know that? Because you can still buy some. Where, Otter? Where can I buy it? Check out, and this is me because I'm a Texan, right? Texas Precious Metals. It's texmetals.com. Texmetals.com. They pay me nothing. I tried to hit them up for a sponsorship. Nothing. Oh, by the way, Joe, I saw your post. Just so you know, KCYP 97.7 FM out of McAllen, Texas, operates on donations only. If you'd like, 97.7 is also broadcasting the Bitcoin Otter Show right now as we speak. You can hit them up on Facebook and get with Joe. Joe's behind the camera, so you don't see him. You got to see my ugly mug, but hey, I'm the one talking. Anyway, so silver, ladies and gentlemen, is $89, and believe me, the price is nothing compared to the value. Price is here, value, well, I can't go, there's a ceiling here. I can't move as high as it would go. The value of silver, ladies and gents, and you can still get it. That's the awesome thing. Yes, it's going to cost you probably over $100 between, I don't know, Texas Precious Metals will, you can store it there. I know these things. They've got a vault, and your silver can stay there if you would so like. Why? Because it's in Shiner, Texas. That's why. And you could go get a brew and then visit your silver, and then you get another brew after and you come home. That's so cool, man. Awesome stuff, right? So again, they don't pay me anything. If anyone from them is, listening by any chance, and maybe I'll send this to them one of these days, throw a little bit to 97.7 KCYP, the city out of McAllen, Texas. Please, we're broadcasting here. Anyway, so the thing that I want to discuss today is mainly the whole American thing. Also, I want to discuss a few things about the State of the Union address, right? I really have problems with the decorum in that place. I have been to junior high, I've been to high school, and I think we were pretty much better behaved than those communists in the halls of governance of our great and beloved United States of America. They made fools of themselves and no one else. No one else and no one else. They made fools of themselves, and I'm holding them to it. Now, Frank, good to see you. What we're going to talk about, and what I like to talk about, and hopefully you do too, is this whole thing about the United States of America and how people hate it. Who are these people? They are people that live in the great United States of America, yet they hate it. How do I know this? Because they write these things. I'm going to go to, right now, the article that I saw today, and I'm just going to read some of it, okay? I'm going to read some of this crazy, crazy article that basically tells us, well, some people just don't like the fact that America wins. They don't like America. They live here. But they say, and let me give you this headline, "You're not alone. Reporters comfort those triggered." This is out of Zero Hedge, by the way. "Reporters comfort those triggered and traumatized by scenes of patriotism." Right? So it says this week, most Americans found a moment of rare unity in our pride over the performance of athletes in the Winter Olympics. So, not all of us, however. These are my words, right? So, not all of us. Well, some of us. Some in the media found the entire demonstration of patriotism to be intolerable and here's their favorite word, triggering, right? They consider it triggering. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you have to remember, the big draw for communism in the United States is the university system, the system of so-called higher education. Now, that system is a pipeline for places of even further concentration of Marxism and communist thought, which in this case is journalism. Wow. Journalism is a hellhole when it comes to trying to be a patriot in the United States. So here's what happened that partially set them off. Last night was the first night, it was back from the break, the Olympic break for the NHL. And my beloved Buffalo Sabres played against the New Jersey Devils in New Jersey. It was a home game for New Jersey, right? So who is playing for New Jersey? None other than Jack Hughes, the game-winning goal scorer. Yes, it was in overtime. I don't know. I think it was less than 2 minutes. Jack Hughes gets the pass in the slot, lays it down, and it went in, okay? Everybody, pandemonium. It was just awesome. You know, cats and dogs living together, all that craziness, right there on the ice. So it was a Patriots great thing to see. Eric, good to see you. Love to watch your show without wearing pants. Yes. Thank you, sir. Whoa, you're talking about you. Oh, great. No, don't wear pants. Pants are not necessary to watch this show, Eric. You know that. That's awesome. I was just talking about a Texas beer called Shiner. It's a great beer, but if you have a Jenny in your hand, because I know that's the local beer where you're at, that's good too, you know. Of course, a Labatt's is good. Canadians are great for beer. We did what we did in hockey, but they're great for beer. Yes. So, where was I? It was about the game-winning score by Jack Hughes. Great play. The kid was great. He played the whole Olympic tourney. He played great. However, he took one to the chops. He took a stick to the chops, and wow, it was pretty glorious, to be honest with you. Pretty darn glorious. One tooth was cracked in half. The other one next to it was falling out. It was just, his lips are all bloody while he's giving the interview. And, you know, the journalist, and remember, that is a pejorative term. If I want to call you something really dirty, the worst name in the book, I'll call you a politician. If I want to go one notch above that and a little bit less mean, I'll call you a journalist. Okay? That's how low some of these scum are. Now, this so-called journalist laid down some questioning, and I can't remember if anybody remembers. You can throw it up there. Global Jobel. Yes. Thank you for that one, Eric. Lay this down if you got the exact terms, but she basically tried to get him to say something that journalists would be probably like, oh, I hate America. Something stupid like that, because that's how journalists in today's age do. Anyway, the problem was, for them, Jack is a patriot. Him and his brother were both on the team. His mom won the gold, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think his mom won the gold for the women way back when. Right? Maybe not even way back when, but at some point in time, because this kid's young, right? So he gets up there, and it's, again, they had come back from the break. They're in New Jersey, and they're playing the Buffalo Sabres. They're actually doing good this year, you guys. Eric, you can attest to this. Sabres are doing well. In fact, they won last night, but spoiler, right? Anyway, New Jersey did it really well. They had the spotlight on their hero, America's hero, right? He game-winning goal, Jack Hughes. What does Jack do? The classy kid that this guy is. Classy guy, right? With half a tooth and the other one's wiggly. He called to the Buffalo bench and got Tage Thompson, right? Great hockey player for the Buffalo Sabres. Said, come on, buddy. And they went. And in fact, I think if I remember correctly, seeing the video, Jack Hughes went to the Sabres bench and they skated arm in arm back to the center spotlight. And I think they even skated around the rink, if I remember. And it was awesome, man. Just patriotism on display. It was. And Tage, by the way, scored. just so you know. 2 Sabres, 1 Devils. Tage scored. Tage Thompson. So the fact is this. It was a great moment. We hadn't won. And if those of you watching are old like me, you can remember the 1980 Olympics. I remember that. I was playing hockey as a kid during that time. It was great. It was awesome. I remember being in my living room with the shag rug, the orange and yellow shag rug that was the rage in the 70s. My parents had I think it was like tan. Sue, if you're watching, let me know if I'm wrong here. I think it was gold and some velour black highlights on it. It was so great. It was the 70s, right? Back when my dad didn't need a remote because he had me, you know. He'd get up and then he'd scream because I turned him too fast. Anyway, I digress. So these guys get up and it's great in New Jersey. It's just a lot of patriotism, and some people get sick to the stomach when America is praised, when the greatness of America comes out, not just the fact that we are America, that we are Americans. We can come together and celebrate victory. But there are people out there who hate Americans and hate America. And I'm going to go back to that right here and right now. The HuffPost, that's Ariana Huffington, who sold it to somebody, probably Chinese, probably a communist, even though she is a commie, right? She sold it. So, I mean, this woman, whatever, because we got to be very selective as to what we call people nowadays, right? Anyway. The HuffPost even published an article with therapeutic advice for liberals. Triggered by seeing so many American flags, the liberal publication ran an article titled, "There's a name for the discomfort you're feeling watching the Olympics right now." It then published it a second time before the gold medal hockey game with Canada, presumably to prepare its readers for the nightmare of the United States actually winning. The subtitle or subheading read, "If waving the American flag or chanting USA, USA turns you off right now, you're not alone." Yes, ladies and gentlemen, there are many communist households in this nation, and many of them are journalists. And yes, they do have offices. And yes, they do go across the airwaves. And yes, they write articles. Yes, yes, and yes, they hate America. So, senior writer Monica Torres began the article with this line, "While President Donald Trump's deportation agenda separates families." Oh, it does. So does the DUI, by the way, Monica. It does. If you or I drive drunk and we got our kids in the vehicle, they're going to separate our family. American citizens will also be separated from their family. You don't want to talk about that, do you? Anyway, and federal agents detained 5-year-olds. Yeah, because the dad ran away, left the 5-year-old in the freezing cold, and then the mom wouldn't open up the door. These are the real parts of the story, ladies and gentlemen, that Monica over here, she won't tell you. American athletes are winning medals on behalf of the nation at the Olympics right now. She's sorry about that. She goes on to interview 3 therapists for this story. These people got to bring in therapists when America wins, ladies and gentlemen. This ought to tell you something. America wins, they need therapy. Ladies and gentlemen, this was on Showcase last night. This was right in your face. Okay? Yesterday at the State of the Union address, we see 2 crazy women, beige with black velour wallpaper, red, orange, and beige shag rug carpet. Mom called it the Mediterranean look. Yeah, she would have known, right? She's Italian and everything. Never went to the Mediterranean, but hey, Mom, we believed you. We still do. Hey, Dad, you're watching. Love you, Dad. God bless you. Also, you too, Jim. Whoever's over there, Tammy. I don't know who else is over there. Love you guys. So I'm gonna go on with this, okay? And if you want to talk about something else, throw it in there. Right now, I'm just high on this whole idea of patriotism. But I want to highlight to you and me, because we can't really be reminded enough, that not everybody loves America, and not all Americans love America, as this woman named Monica says. So, a Los Angeles-based licensed clinical social worker, Amy Monterosa, explained that the atrocities of the United States can trigger feelings of guilt, not in me, despair, shame, and anger in seeing the country celebrate these sports victories. Ma'am, can you touch the doll and tell us where the hockey stick hit it? Can you tell us who knocked out your doll's teeth? Because you know what? You know what, Ms. Amy? You know what? Jack got his teeth knocked out to win a victory for America. What have you done for America, Amy? Besides write hit pieces about patriotism, Amy? What have you done? Anyway, in seeing a country celebrate these sports victories, she's an expert, Lauren Appio, echoed how waving the American flag or chanting USA, these are my emphasis here. It's my emphasis, USA, USA, can make us feel grossed out or ashamed, said Lauren. Lauren's ashamed when I chant USA, USA. I'm going to chant it one more time for you, Lauren. USA. So these are the experts. These are the therapists, okay, that need to gather around communists when America wins. Because I'm telling you right now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you right now They want you to lose. They want me to lose. They want America to lose because they're not aware of what happens to the useful idiots because they haven't been taught about Stalin. They haven't been taught about Pol Pot. They haven't been taught about all of the Bolsheviks and what they did to Russia. They haven't been taught, okay, about the truth regarding communism. China, what happened in China? Mao Zedong, right? They haven't been taught. Not the truth anyway. What do you think's going to happen to Monica? What do you think's going to happen to Lauren? What do you think's going to happen to Amy? Once the communists are done with them, they're out of here. They can read. They probably wear glasses. Unless you're educated in this, and I'm not saying those of you who have degrees on your wall, institutionalized. I'm saying people who really know. What did they do to the educated people, the people that could read? Yeah, they didn't need to know if you could read or not. If you had some glasses, they whacked you. Mao Zedong, right? China, they whack people with glasses. I think it happened in Cuba too, not sure. Anyway, they hate America because they want to see us gone. When that happens, they don't realize that they're not going to rule over the ashes the way the deep state, the Khazarian mafia thought they were, and they won't, by the way, all you black pillars, they won't. America is going to survive. We're not only going to survive, we're going to triumph. And what this really does to them, okay, the Laurens, the Amy's, right? And who's the other one there? Monica. What it does to them is it scares them because they realize, wait a minute, this is going to happen for real. This is going to happen. Americans are going to win. America's going to win. I don't want that. They've been taught, at least for their whole adult life, to hate America. I mean, I will bet that these women, their parents, I'll bet their parents are patriots. Right? We can hope. Anyway, I won't even comment on them. So there's another guy here at Vox, right? Vox, I guess, means voice or whatever. Eric says they're called YouTube therapists. Yes, they are YouTube therapists. These people are just, how would you say? They stretch credulity, if that's a word. Credulity. So it's a D and a J together, I think. They're not credible. How's that sound? Right? I don't believe them. But that's scary because they're speaking their own truth. They're speaking the truth of their hatred for America. You don't believe me? Look at the replay of the State of the Union address, okay? With those creatures in the audience. It was what's her name? The little one who got squirted with apple cider vinegar, and the story disappeared. Ilhan Omar, who married her brother to come into the United States, right? So she pretended to come in legally, just like her idol Obama. He came in not legally. He's not never mind. I guess I'm going a little bit too far. I don't want to jump too far ahead, but it was her and that other woman. I think it's a woman. I can't remember the name, but they're just hideous, right? And they're screaming and yelling throughout the State of the Union address. It's just like they were little kids, I expected them to, throw spitballs or something. I don't know. So here's the guy at Vox, a senior correspondent. Oh, whatever that means. I don't know. Does he wear a badge? I'm a senior correspondent at Vox. Jackass. So his name is Alex Abad Santos. Okay, Alex Abad Santos. So somebody's throwing some good, throwing some love up here with us. You can't see all of it, but this Alex Abad Santos wrote an article on the winners and losers at the Olympics, right? So this guy, he works over at Vox, they say. As you can tell, it's probably not something that I would care about, and you probably don't either. However, the column perfectly summed up, this is from Zero Hedge, right? The column perfectly summed up the pathological opposition of some to this country's symbols and celebrations. Abad Santos declared the men's hockey team one of the biggest losers of the games. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a little sidebar here. Okay, I'm going to tell you about something called evil. What does evil do? It always, always, always seeks to invert good, to invert God's will for you and me. What do I mean by that? The U.S. team won the gold medal. They hit the apex, the brass ring, if you will, of Olympic, worldwide success. His job, being the evil, you can imagine yourself what he is. Evil, okay, you throw a word there in your own mind. That evil had to invert it and say that they were the losers, right? The winners, for them, are losers. It's just like the female version of him that came before the Monica, Amy, and Lauren versions. They believe that America is bad because we want America to be good, and we're working in that direction. So they have to invert it. As above, so below. Look the term up, ladies and gentlemen. The term has evil and shadowy origins. Look it up. As above, so below. Hit me up if you want to learn about this stuff. Now, in the meantime, the winner, oh wait, I skipped, sorry. He blamed that team for alienating citizens by their patriotic statements. Alienating citizens of the United States by the patriotic statements of the winners. The conversation surrounding the win quickly shifted into how the team celebrated and who it celebrated with. He expressed outrage over the team accepting the celebratory call from the president of the United States. Now, had that president been a communist, he would have loved it. He would have celebrated it. But as we well know, thank God Donald J. Trump is the opposite of a communist. Now, in the meantime, the winner, according to Abad Santos, was, wait for it, Eileen Gu. I'm not choking anything up. I didn't, almost swallow, half a potato or something. Eileen was the first name. Gu, G is the last name. Okay, this person, okay, is an American who reportedly took millions from the repressive Chinese regime to ski for China. So this woman grows up she's of Chinese descent apparently, grows up in the United States. All the advantages that we have. Why? Because patriotic, strong American men fought for our freedom. Okay? They fought for our freedom. You choose the war. I will choose the revolutionary one because all other wars have been bankers' wars. And some might even say the revolution was. However, I'll tell you, that was the best, most ballsy revolution I've ever studied. And I'll tell you what, it was awesome because I live in the great, great country of America because God blessed the founding fathers of this nation so that they won. They risked life. They risked limb, family, fortune, all of it. So that you and I can take advantage of the greatness. And it doesn't matter. No matter what jackasses in the world tell you, the color of your skin doesn't matter. You too can take advantage of the great blessing of the United States of America. Blessings, right? So this woman, Eileen Gu, decided that she was going to take advantage of everything that she could here in America, take $1 million+ from China and go skate for them. So according to this simp, Abad Santos, right? Alex Abad Santos, this soy boy says that she's the real winner. Okay. So, she skied. So it wasn't ice skating, it was skiing. Gu used the games to criticize the United States while saying nothing of how China arrests anyone who speaks out against that country. Abad Santos gushes, says the author of this article. Abad Santos gushes. Let me give you the author real quick. Jonathan Turley. And he's writing for Zero Hedge. Jonathan Turley. He said that Abad Santos gushed over this. Gu symbolizes the reality that athletes don't need the U.S.'s backing or support to be commercially successful. Isn't that what it's all about, Alex? Is commercial success? Huh? What? You communists are ready to throw rocks at someone who has commercial success, business acumen. Okay? You're ready to throw rocks at those people. But here you're praising Gu. You went goo for goo. Anyway, Talita Rashid. Yeah. Thanks, Barry. It was Rashid, the creature that was next to the Elon creature, who looks sort of like the woman from what was that movie with Wazowski? Oh man, Monsters Inc. Thank you, Joe. Monsters Inc. Where she's sitting behind the desk, always watching Wazowski, always watching. Yes, that's Tashida, whatever her name is, Rashid. That's her. So this Abad Santos guy says that he loves the fact that goo sold out to China. That makes some Americans like Vance, I don't know why he throws JD in there, but he did, uneasy. She also embodies the very American idea of this is rich. This is rich, guys. She also embodies the very American idea of relentlessly pursuing success and maximizing it no matter what it takes. Selling out to China, apparently, is part of what it takes. Goo represents the American dream and the startling concept. Listen to this. The startling concept that the American dream, that America isn't necessary for it. Let me read that again. This disgusting man, Abad Santos, I think he's a man, Alex, says, and let me read this again. Goo represents the American dream and the startling concept that America isn't necessary for it. Ladies and gentlemen, when people tell you who they are, listen to them. He hates America. America is not necessary to these people. How do I know it? I can read and I can watch, like the State of the Union address yesterday. But we won't go back to that. Always watching, Wazowski. Always watching. So, the last line is particularly telling, says the author. Abad Santos is celebrating the idea that you can live the American dream without America. I'd love to see these people do it without all the help we give them. Anyway, others joined the lionizing of goo. Charlotte Harper, writing for the New York Times, The Athletic, virtually declared her a new deity. You would be forgiven if you thought goo was a quasi-human robot expertly created by artificial intelligence. So eloquent are her responses to the media. Oh, and aren't the media just the paragon of honesty and greatness? Oh, man, just me saying that. I'm telling you, Joe, we need a spittoon here. I can't say these disgusting and stupid things without having to spit them out. Oh, man. Anyway, what do we got here? The next day, they slammed the men's hockey team, in an article entitled "The U.S. Men's Olympic Hockey Team Won Gold and Then Lost the Room." Ladies and gentlemen, I could go on. The fact of the matter is this. We don't hate the media enough. We tolerate them too much. But it won't last for long, ladies and gentlemen. I think it was 2019. And if anyone, Matt, you might know. Jody, if you're watching, you might know also. In 2019, I want to say it was in February, but I'm not sure, Donald Trump said something to the effect of, in 6 years, they all go bust. Now, we are a little bit behind schedule on that, if my memory serves, and it doesn't always. But remember that they slander, they malign, they lie like a rug, and it affects people. It affects their careers. It affects their livelihoods, maybe even their sanity. Not me, because I laugh at them. I turn it around because it's laughable, truly. But they do need to be sued. They do need to go bankrupt because they make a lot of money out of hurting people. Not the least harm they do is lie. That's not the least of their harm inflicted upon us. There's some very serious things that go on, like saying that everything that Big Pharma puts out is safe and effective, right? They told us that 2020 was the most valid election ever. Now we know the truth to that, don't we? Don't we? I think we do. So where I'm going with all this is that while we, as Americans and as patriots, celebrate this stuff, we might have to consider that our odious nature toward media is, weak and tepid. We really do need to ramp it up because they hate America. Matt says an evil man will burn his own nation to the ground just to rule over the ashes. Yes, let's also say an evil man and an evil woman. But here's the thing. As I said before, I'll say it again. These people who have been institutionalized in once great American universities, with their walls strewn with what are called degrees, and what it really means is their indoctrination has degrees to it. So if you get to I don't even know if it's an apex, right? A PhD that's a doctor, right? That's a doctorate, I believe, or maybe a doctorate comes before the PhD. No, the PhD is a doctorate. So the PhD is a doctorate, right? Yeah, shows how much I know. But I don't feel bad about that one bit, and no one will make me feel bad because I didn't go through that institutional brainwashing, if you will. So these walls are covered in degrees of indoctrination, institutionalization, right? So what we call, and I please, this is the medical term, mental retardation, they call success, right? Their ability to think is so narrowed into whatever the professor tells them to think, because, and I'm, I never went to university, but I have spoken with many university graduates, and, I don't remember any of them telling me when the subject arose, whether or not they could, basically divert from the curricula and go to something that, well, hey, the professor said this was right, but you know what? I know this is true. What are you going to pass that class? Are you? I don't know. I don't know. Are you going to win in a scenario where the person in control, oftentimes iron fist of control on your grades? Are you going to win there if you speak truth, if it doesn't align with whatever the professor, him or her, is wanting you to regurgitate from the textbook? Or I guess they don't have textbooks. That's how old I am. I don't know. I don't know what it's like, but it certainly doesn't churn out any good products. Well, let me say, certainly doesn't churn out many good products, right? Yuri Bezmenov, ladies and gentlemen, did an interview, I think in 1982, 1984. Yuri was not that I had beer with him or anything like that, especially at that time. I was very young. So Yuri and I over beers. I'm just kidding. See, come on. Anyway, Yuri told us in 1982, 84, in the 80s, Yuri told us, okay, as a Soviet defector, back when Russia was communist. See, now, if you believe the media, they're still communist, but you don't believe the media. Anyone watching this does not believe the media. So what he told us was one of the most successful avenues of approach to the destruction of America by communists was via the education system. Now, what do we have? We have a disgusting paragon of communism. It has a name. It's called Randy Weingarten. Randy Weingarten is the head of the teachers, the National Teachers Union. Okay? We are seeing across our great nation, we are seeing an increased amount of grade school kids. I'm not talking even about high school kids. We're seeing that, yes. And I'm certainly not talking about adults in college. I'm going to focus on the grade school kids, okay, that have supposedly organized, but it wasn't them, have been organized, weaponized, I will say, this is me, weaponized against the United States to march outside of the school environs, campus, if you will. Some of whom have been hit by vehicles marching against a federal agency, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE. Some others are in the classroom, and I'm talking, they were fifth graders, sixth graders, I don't know, standing up before the class reciting F, and the whole word, ICE, in front of their class. Encouraged by minions of Randy Weingarten. Ladies and gentlemen, this is being tolerated. But I want to talk to some of my black-pilled friends. If you don't understand black-pilling, it's this. Woe is me, woe is us. We are in trouble, we're going to die. We're going to die tomorrow. No, we're going to die the next day. Tomorrow comes, we're going to die next week. It's all done. We're through. Poison in the food, poison in the medication, poison in the air, poison in the water. Are these people necessarily wrong? No. However, they want to sell you hopelessness. They want to sell, dearly they do, despair. Do not buy their product, ladies and gentlemen. Do not buy their product. God has not finished with this great nation. When he is finished, are we going to know it? However, we only get to see a narrow wedge of what's going on. Yes, it's ugly. Yes, it's, you watch Netflix, it sucks, right? You want to see anything DEI'd, died, dead? Get a Netflix adaptation of it. Anyway, we are not black pillars here. We will not try to sell you despair. We will not tell you that you need to go out into the street and scream at the top of your lungs. If you want to, go ahead. It's free still. But what I'm saying is this. There is hope, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? There has been a very successful counterinsurgency mounted against the globalists, against the Illuminati, the deep state, the Khazarian mafia, whatever name you want to call it. Okay? The international banking cartel, whatever you want to call it. They are nearly gone. They are going to always be in the shadows. Evil never truly goes from this earth until the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords touches down once again on his return. And upon his return, woe be us if we have not taken him as Lord and Savior. Until that time, we have hope. I will never give up hope. First of all, in God above. Second of all, in the United States of America. It has very dark corners, very deep and ugly secrets, I will admit. However, there is no country on the face of this earth, save Israel in the Bible, in those biblical times. Certainly not the modern nation state that stole that name. The biblical Israel, the sons and daughters of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. 12 tribes, right? And they were rocky too, right? Because they're human. Hello. What do we do as humans? We backslide. We fall. We do things that we shouldn't do. We follow bad leaders. Yeah. Can you say Bush? Can you say Clinton? Can you say Obama? Yeah. And these people, these media people, want you to think that Donald Trump is a bad leader. I'm not saying he's a godly man. I'm not saying he's near perfect. Nowhere near it. What I am saying is that God is using him mightily. Okay? And I, for one, am happy for it. So, yes, we have bad things going on. Yes, we have poison in our food. You see a loaf of bread out, it'll last a year nowadays here in America. You go to Europe, from what I hear, you go to Europe and that bread will be stale by, a day or two, which is good because that means it's natural. So, yes, there are things to be angry about. There are things to change. So Eric says, remember acid rain in the 80s? Now it's climate change. Yes, I do remember acid rain in the 80s. And I think if I remember correctly, they said that it was going to kill us by the 90s. You're right? Al Gore said that we'd all be underwater by now. But you know what? That's what Al Gore gets paid for. Okay, ladies and gentlemen? I saw a picture today. I listen and watch a lot of different podcasts and people that educate, not necessarily and pretty much exclusively not in the university system. But these people educate. And this guy, Mike King, was talking about the fact that the flags for Antifa today, their symbol, you've seen those flags, right, is the exact same symbol that was used in Nazi Germany for the communists. And you know what happened to that group? They were arrested and thrown in jail. Why? Because they were doing the very same thing in Germany that they're doing in the United States today. Wow, did I just freak some people out? I think I probably did. If you want to know a little bit more about it, and you want to be the deciding factor, you want to be the arbiter of truth in your own mind, because God gave you that right. Don't let any media or professor take it away, please. You too can judge our history based on other things besides textbooks and, Nat Geo and the History Channel. So, one more time, I'm going to go back to, I think it was here in the Zero Hedge. It says here, this is the last thing that Jonathan Turley, the author, mentioned. What these writers find repulsive is rousing for the rest of us. Watching Hughes and Thompson skate together last night was everything that is great about this country. As those Jersey fans went wild. Hughes if he's a hero to us because he scored the overtime goal and we're Americans, imagine the hometown New Jersey Devils. Hughes said that he was struggling not to get emotional at that moment. He was not alone. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to close out pretty soon. We are blessed. We are truly blessed to be in this great United States, these great United States. And the fact remains that not every one of us in these great United States love it. That's just something we're going to have to deal with. We don't need therapists for it. We don't need, cushy stuffed animals. We don't need to commiserate or come into any group therapy of any kind. We don't need any of that because there are more of us than them. There are more people that love America than those that hate it. And how do we know this? Well, because we don't have to look in the places that they want us to look. We don't have to look in the media. We don't have to look at the HuffPost. We don't have to look at Blue Sky or whatever the hell it's called. We don't have to look at Facebook. We don't have to look at Twitter. We don't have to look at any of that. All right? All we have to do is learn about what America has done for the world. If nothing else, ladies and gentlemen, if nothing else. And you can find these things, and you know what? I'm going to have to post this because I don't have it right off the top of my head. But if you want to talk about an evangelical, godly outpouring from a nation, it's ours. How many people have been brought the truth of who God is through America? And not necessarily those great and brave people that are missionaries, but those of us that have actually supported missionaries. We're a part of it. People have learned who God is and been, taken to heaven as a result and are going to live with God for eternity because of what we, as Americans, have helped them out with. Don't ever think that America is evil because of Americans. If there's evil in the pockets, in the corners of America, and there is, let's look to the bankers, right? And not the ones that are around the corner from you. Not the ones that are at the local branch. They're just like us. When I say bankers, I mean the Federal Reserve. They have oppressed this nation and this world for generations. But I want to let you in on something. And I'm coming close to the mic. Why? Because Joe told me today that it's better sounding that way, and I'm going to do it. Not for any type of emotional impact. The fact of the matter is this. These bankers and this banking cartel will not be along much longer. They will not be among us. They will not be oppressing us. And they will not be stealing our children's future much longer. I only can say that because I believe it. And you only have my word. Let me give my right hand. My word for this. Okay? I truly believe this. If you want to hit me up on Messenger, I can give you many reasons for which I believe this. And if you don't, that's fine too. But just suffice it to say that I love America, but I love God more. So even if I'm wrong about all this, one thing I know I'm not wrong about is God himself. And let me read just a little bit of what he tells us. This is how God showed his love among us. He sent his one and only Son into the world that we might live through him. I believe that. 1,000,000%. That God showed us love. And that means we can love each other. You know, I have a little bit of fun talking about these communists that are in the media. And they are communists, but I don't hate them. I hate their words. I despise what they want for America, but I don't hate them because I'm no better than them. I mean, yeah, democracy, a republic that we live under is much better than communism. But what I mean is, I am just a human too. I am just a sinner before God myself. I'm not better than them. If I go to heaven and they don't, it's not because I'm better. It's because I actually believe in the one that God sent, that we just read about. Right? So what I really want, if you remember nothing about today, this broadcast, what I would like you to remember, if nothing else, is that God is good, and no matter what happens, whatever happens here, he's got us. We're gonna be all right. May there be some discomfort, some pain. Yeah, sure. But you know what? We're gonna be okay. How does that song go? Everything gonna be all right. We're gonna be all right. We're gonna be okay. I love you. God bless you. God bless your families. Okay, we have some people, Facebook friends, if you will, brothers and sisters, better said, okay, that are hurting right now. Rebecca Dunn, I don't know if you're watching, probably not, but I pray for you. I pray for the Dunn family. Thank you, Father, for blessing us with the ability to pray to you and knowing that you're here. Better yet, knowing that you're going to answer one way or another. We need to wait sometimes, many times, but thank you, Lord God. Thank you. I ask you, Lord, to bless these viewers and these watchers, be it live or be it off the schedule of 97.7 KCYP, the city, on the Bitcoin Otter Show. Doesn't really matter. What does matter is that, Lord, please bless America. Bless us and shine the light, that we might shine the light in the world, that others might benefit from the grace that you've given us. Thank you all. Have a great week. You'll hopefully meet me again next week, and we'll talk about more stuff. Throw me some stuff. Hit me up on Messenger, whatever, email. All right? Whatever you want to do. Hit me up if you want to talk about something. You want to be on the show? Hit me up. I'll have you on. God bless you. God bless America. See you next Thursday, Lord willing.
This is the Bitcoin Otter Radio Show
Oh my God, I love you so much.
on 97.7